Hello, good morning. Welcome to our first live webinar. I'm really happy to be here this morning in the sunny Wednesday in Dublin. So as I said, this is our first webinar. We are going to quickly try to show you how you can create a business app without coding in 10 minutes. I'm just now showing you the agenda. This is what I really want to cover today. So what is Kianda? And then I will go into demoing something that's very common in terms of business apps. So ability for you to capture training records. I will show you for something that's already pre-built, and then I will walk you through the step of recreating that same app in hopefully under 10 minutes. So what is Kianda? I will start with that by saying what it is not. So Kianda is not a visual designer. So there is in many other products a lot of emphasis into the visual, trying to connect shapes and trying to make that a natural app. Now, there are advantages to that. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. It can work in certain cases, but whenever it does get slightly complicated, it gets out of hand very quickly. So working with shapes really hides what the end user is going to see. So it sometimes can become very difficult to understand what's going on. Kianda is also not a code editor. It's not built for you to go in and just write reams of code. It's not going to require you to write lots of code. So there are two extremes that I'm talking about here. So it will allow you to quickly put together interfaces. So, and that's really going into what Kianda is. Kianda is a rapid visual app builder, allowing you to put together the interfaces that are cross-platform. So you would be able to quickly put together the interface and then use natural language in a rule-based approach to build the logic that powers that same app. So that is a very, very quick introduction to what Kianda is. There is a lot more to know as one of the core pillars of Kianda is this condition-based rule execution and triggering, and that drives all the actions and all the activities that will then feed into all from the interfaces that are cross, so are available in mobile or on a desktop, and will also allow you to quickly in the same platform put together dashboards that would allow you to in real time simply report on that data. So for today, what I have in mind to show is an example that's very common, which is the training record. Typically, what happens in a few organizations is that employees would have to go and do recurring training every year at least. And what ends up happening is that training record is kept in a paper-based archive somewhere. You will sign that, you will send that to HR or to the training manager, and that would be archived in a repository that can be used at later stage from a compliance point of view to make sure that staff has the necessary training to perform their duties. But typically this is kept in a file cabinet or even on someone's desk. And so what we are going to do is show you how you can eliminate paper, eliminate this, which is a process, into a digital one. So make it become a digital one. So that's really the end of my presentation. So I will quickly swap into my demo. So what we have done is we have prepared a very simple workspace for myorg.kianda.com. And in this workspace in myorg.kianda.com, I already have under the designer, I have a training record app that I already pre-built to make sure that I could show you the final product before I actually show you how that is put together. So it's a very simple form. So you have a list of categories, a list of courses, a trainer, coach, course dates, the employee details that will contain the detail of whoever is actually signing for that or completing that particular course, and there and then a field where they would be able to digitally sign their record, and then also a place where we will be storing a PDF version of that record. So this is the pre-built version of it. So what I really want to do is to create a new one. Okay, so doing that, it creates a new form, a new process for me, which is going to immediately have an empty form on it. I will call immediately training record, and then I will start by adding a new divider. So we had a divider. The first one was the divider for training details. Selecting that, making it bold. That's really it. Going to select one of the colors schemes, and that's my template. Now, the next thing that I would like to do is start adding the fields. So we have seen a field for the category of the training. So in this case, I will expand under controls. So just to give you a quick walkthrough of what you see in the designer in itself, you would see on the left side the list of controls, rules, the ones that you would be able to define language-based type of condition that would control when or how it would trigger. And then on the right side, you would see the properties of whatever you have selected. So in this case, I have selected the training details, and that is what appears selected on the right side. So I'm going to continue here, expand input, go into list, selecting the list will open the create new field list dialog. In here, I could call category, and I will just give it a unique name as category. And then what I want to do, and this is something that I already have, I have a SharePoint site where I want to store my data effectively. It's going to be my data repository. I could use any other type of repositories, from SQL Server databases to Excel spreadsheets, or even Dropbox, Google Drives, and everything else, anything else that you would want to use. So in this case, the list source, as I said, will be my training site, is a SharePoint site. So I will select the categories. Once I select the training site, on the right side in the data source tree, I will see a list of lists that are coming from SharePoint. I will select the category, clicking OK. I will then select the field that I want to display within the category. I want to display the title, and I want to store the value as well within that. So that's really it. It's going to be a drop-down list. There is nothing else I need to do. So that's my category field. So to continue with that, I will add another field, which is my course. And what I'm really walking into here is the cascading ability for us to display a category, and then the courses underneath that same category. So it is something very common in most of forms technology, and I will show you today how that actually happens very quickly. So I'm going to select the course, or actually name it course, and then also give the title of course, and then go again to the data source field, select training site, select courses, and then click OK. Next, I will select the title, and then the title again. So this is the course title. So we are fetching data or connecting this list to the courses list or table. In this case, what we want to do is to make sure that we are creating a cascading dropdown. So until now, we are just creating dropdowns. For us to create a cascading dropdown from here is as simple as going into the conditions section in the list settings. Clicking in that will allow me to add a new condition group. And here I will be able to say, I want to get all the courses where the category is equal to the selected category that we already created. So this is the field. So here, this is my form data. We have the divider that we added, and then we have the other field that we had there, which is the category field. So that's really it. I can click OK and click OK again, and I have immediately cascading drop-down type of functionality. So I will continue by adding another field. I know by looking at my data source, the SharePoint list, I have a few courses in terms of category. I have coaching, I have classroom, I have trainer as well. So what I can do then within my my Kianda form is I would like to also display who the trainer is going to be for a given selected course. So I will click on a text box, and then I will say, okay, this is going to be my trainer /coach. And I would like that to be disabled. So actually, I don't want anyone to type in any information into that field. I would like that field to auto-populate when you select the course. So in this case, I will select the course drop-down. I will now move on into a rule. So what I would like to do is expand other rule, expand data, find items, select the data source, select training site, select courses. Then what we want to do is to filter the courses by title, saying that I want to retrieve the rest of details of the selected course. And then once I do that, I will then be able to say I want to get the trainer into the trainer coach field. And that's really it. So that is my ability to go fetch the additional information from the dropdown into the trainer coach field. So I can proceed with this creation of this form. I will then add a date field. I will edit that. I will call that date. And then I will also give it a title of course date. I will set a default date. So the idea here is that this is going to be filled in when someone is on a particular training course. So you are still in the classroom and you are going to be filling in that form. So you would be able to see the default date being set to today. So I'm setting the set default date to today. The users will be able to override that. So that's really the training details part complete. Then the next section is the actual who the employee is. We need to store some information regarding the employee. So I'm going to add a new divider. So I have this field selected. Just when I click here, it will add underneath that. So I have a divider for employee details. And I will call that employee details. And here I will also make sure that I make that bold again and select the same color scheme. Once I do that, I can then go on and add additional fields. So in this case, go still in the control. So I will collapse the layout section, expand the input section, and then select the option user picker. In this case, I will select, I will type in training 4, and then I will call the field to be employee, and then I will single selection, and I will say I don't want to say show the selection option, and I also say the default to current user. So meaning that anyone creating that form will see the things predefined in the training for picker. So that's basically it. We have the training for picker, and then the final point to capture here is adding a digital or electronic signature fields. So this is really it. I'm going to call it signed by, and I will display in the options underneath. I will say I would like to show the username of the person and the signing time. Clicking OK will do just that. So I have everything I needed from a capture of the data point of view. I could then simply remove things that I do not want. So there was an additional save button, and this is already fully functional. So I can start working with it immediately. That's really it. At the moment, we are not doing anything special at the moment. We could do the same thing that we have done on the previous one, and the only thing that's missing here is the document generation piece, which is basically using a template that we have here using the Kianda document generation template. What it does is simply allowing you to map fields from your form into a template, and then using a document generation rule to assemble that into a PDF document. So that's the part that I already have the template pre-built, and that's really it. So that's the only 2 additional fields that you have here. So I will not go into too much detail in that for now. If you have any questions at the later stage, please let me know. What I will do instead is create a quick dashboard that would allow me to publish that to end users. Now, the app is now available in both mobile and in your digital workspace. You would now be able to invite users into the workspace, and for them to have access to that design, you would need to go in and create a new dashboard. So I will do just that. Signing records, and that dashboard, I think there is an icon, this one for now, and I will call that training record. So that's my dashboard that will effectively allow you to publish the list of submitted training records to end users. So in this case, I will call that my training records, and I will give it a full screen. And there are a few more options around here that would control the visibility of that. So, for example, we could decide not to show that when the user is offline, or only show that when the user is using a mobile device. So clicking OK will effectively give you ability to see all the records. So here I can control, say, only display records created by the current user, or assigned to, or meaning assigned to means that it is awaiting for the current user action. I will choose the option to only created by the current user, because this is my training records, by the way. So then I could add a few tiles or a few links on the top, saying links, and these links really will allow me to devise a nice way for users to submit training record in this case. Submit training record. And then I'm going to use my live training record, and I'm going to say that the link size should be only 3 columns in size, and I could use a different color and an icon that's going to be again something like book open again. Click OK and click OK. So let me just make sure that the link is slightly bigger because of the size of the text. So that's big. That's not the most difficult part of the job, but just like to see it more, a bit more. So that's really it. At this moment, I have a dashboard that is now published to end users, where I would be able to click to automatically go into my training record, where the user in itself would then be able to select a given category, so coaching, and then within that category, they would be able to select the types of courses, just to make sure that this is real scenario. So within coaching, you have a few items. So within that, I would be able to select the course, and it will automatically bring in the information about the trainer. And underneath that, I would be able to digitally sign the record and submit that record. So once I do that, the record is then automatically stored within the My Training Records list. So I think we managed to achieve what we wanted to do. In addition to that, the only difference that we do have here is that the previous one allows you to automatically generate that same record in a certificate type of manner, which is automatically generated and emailed to the user. So let me just quickly walk you through the additional steps that the other one has, that this one doesn't have. So this one has a template, which is the one that you see here, that we are automatically mapping. And then on the submit button, we have 2 additional rules. One of them is going to use the generate Word document, effectively pass the template, so the template file, and generate and store into training record PDF that is going to be effectively uploaded into a SharePoint site. So that training record is then stored within a SharePoint site under the documents document library, and then it will also send an email to the training record and have that same file as an attachment. So that's really the end of the process. So just to quickly show you here, that is the record automatically generated and the training record stored within SharePoint. The information for your company automatically being there. That's the name of the user that created it, the title of the course, and the date that the course was uploaded. Now I think I covered everything I wanted to cover and a bit more. Thank you.